Hello, dear listener. This is an old blog that I put up last year. The context of this was the excitement of getting to release Sisyphus Happy, while also drawing the Life Absurd era of Mad Spanner to a close. I hope you enjoy. The Loopfest show of 2023 will be a very special one indeed. Many songs will get played for the final time, like Avocado Commando and Escape into Reality, to make room for new and exciting material. 99% Effective and Landmine on a Frisbee have been received well so far, and Batty Off the Chain and Prison of Convenience have already settled quite nicely in the set for quite a long time now. I've always quite liked it when bands keep themselves relevant and contemporary by playing as much new material as they can out the gate, and that'll be the focus for the next year in support of Sisyphus Happy. But before the run-up to that album's release, I have an opportunity to reflect on Life Absurd and chronicle some of the many experiences I've had in it. It's fitting that the cycle ends exactly where it began, playing with backing tracks at the Yorkshire House in Shrewsbury. 2017 saw the release of the demo Wrong Shade of Orange, which helped form a band later in the year with Dan Ashley on guitar and Ben Codd on drums. We played our first gigs at the Yorkshire House, then the Gifford Arms in Wolverhampton, and in Percy's in Whitchurch. And our first milestone was playing the Albert Shed, and later the Rock and Roll Festival, both proving that we could entertain non-rock audiences. With this newfound confidence, we started to play to audiences further away, like Wrexham, Manchester and Birmingham, where we found returning audiences. The aim was always to have as much fun with our own silly sense of humour and go full pelt no matter how many people are in attendance. There was a fantastic sense of camaraderie with ourselves and the new friends that we made in other bands and promoters in the scene. If I'm being honest, I have some reservations about the recording of the album and the production which aimed to fix our rush time in the studio. But what it does do well is capture the madcap chaotic energy from our live show. I put a lot of thought into the tracklist order and making sure each song flows into the next, and I'm glad the album sounds like a whole work of art and not a disjointed patchwork. It's still a rough and very imperfect debut, but one that was received well critically and made into a couple of Album of the Year lists of 2019. We sold about 70 CDs at live shows, but not a single song has 1,000 streams on Spotify as I type, probably due to being quite playlist unfriendly and the lack of music promotion compared to the live show. There's many lessons learned and things to improve, but my efforts have always been focused for the live show. And live shows is really what Mad Spanner was about. It doesn't matter what kind of audience there is, from any background or in any musical lineup, the aim has always been to entertain with the most energetic display of frenzied lunacy. The people at the back, the bar staff, the disabled, and the designated drivers, the parents, the grandparents, the moshers. The audience really matters to me on an individual level, and I've always tried my best to include everyone in the room in the show. Depression is a killer, and anxiety can be socially crippling. A lot of this energy comes from a direct battle with those internal struggles I know exist in the room, hidden within strangers in the audience. I believe communal experiences really matter, maybe more so now than ever. No one should ever feel alone at a Mad Spanner show. I have a few favourite gigs from the 76 shows I've played to this point. Getting invited to play Footprints in the Custard's A New Low album launch was absolutely huge for Dan and I, who were fans of theirs for a long time. It provided us with a chance to warm up a packed crowd at the Rebellion, Manchester, the most people we've ever performed to, and it was an amazing experience winning over a fabulously receptive audience, who probably had no idea who we were. The next time we played in Manchester at the Pier Hat was as an opening band. But we had stage invasions, stage dives, and a constant pits and chants that continued as we were packing up our gear. It was such a visceral experience with this particular audience, who my crowd served along playing my bass, becomes as a personal favourite. It was such a frenzy, I barely remember it, but thankfully both of those Manchester shows were up on YouTube. Dan and Ben were already planning on going separate ways, but the band properly imploded in 2021 at the Metal to the Masses North Wales final. We were all feeling pretty crazy from the pandemic. Ben had to pull out last minute due to restrictions, and the chaos ensued behind the scenes. The short-term win of Dan and I, successfully pulling off a gaffer-taped 30-minute set right out of our asses as a two-piece the night before, was marred by the lasting impact it had on us as a six-legged unit. We finally made up and reunited for a one-off at Gerbfest the next year, but it was very obvious from it that the dissolution of the band was for the best. At least we had closure, and then we went our separate ways for career, family, music. I shared some of the best times of my life with those guys, and I wish them both the very best with everything. The final part of the Life Absurd era came back to where it all began, playing with a bloody drum machine. I had serious doubts of the future of Mad Spanner, but the fantastic reception from audiences playing solo in Liverpool and Manchester put them to rest. I wrote nearly all the music of Life Absurd and continued to write and record a new album while establishing myself as a one-man hype show. The Liverpool show was amazing, but the ultimate highlight for me was playing crude grindcore thrash punk in the middle of a shopping centre at noon at Loopfest last year. It was shaping up to be a disaster, but it ended up being exactly the what-the-fuck experience for everyone involved. I'll miss playing a lot of these songs, but I'm really looking forward to playing almost entirely new material from now on. I thank every single one of you for the kindness I've received and all the continued support. I couldn't do this without you, or from the help of my friends. I truly, truly love performing as Mad Spanner with a passion. I hope to continue bringing wide smiles to as many people as possible, even the smiles of relief when the racket's finally over. Thanks.